Let's talk a little bit about the clarity of your messaging and burnout. Now, it is possible to have a very clear idea, to have very good clarity about what you do, who you do it for, and still struggle with putting that into your message, putting that into your content, putting that into your marketing. Even though you know in your brain what it is you do, who you want to help, you're having trouble formulating that into words. You're having trouble formulating that into content. And this is where in my first business, I struggled with this. In my brain, I knew exactly who I was going to help, exactly what I wanted to do. I knew at a very specific, detailed level what I could provide for my clients. The problem was I really struggled with putting that into words outside of a sales conversation. And this meant that in order to truly get the right type of client, in order to close that sale, I had to dive in deep into the sales process. I had to do a lot of work on the sales end. I was doing sales calls, lots and lots of sales calls, because I was bringing in people with my content that were not aligned with the vision that I have, that they were not aligned with what I wanted for my dream client, what I wanted for my business. So I either had to weed these people out through the sales process, or what also happened, because I was a new business owner and because I had trouble saying no to people, ended up bending over backwards for clients who were not a good fit for my business, which as a business owner, when you bring those type of clients in, it can be really hard in the beginning to turn down a sale because you're excited, you're seeing those dollar signs. It can be really, really difficult. And you sometimes want to change what you do, change who you are, change your offers to fit what that person needs, because you're just so excited that you have someone that wants to work with you. But in the long run, that's going to hurt you. That's going to hurt your business. It's going to hurt your community. If you have an offer that's based on community, if you're bringing people in that are not aligned with the vision that you have, that are not aligned for where you want your business to go, ultimately, that's going to end up hurting the entire client experience for your other clients. And this was something that I struggled with because, again, I was a brand new baby business owner. I was excited to see sales coming in. My business was, crushing it right off the bat. So it was really hard to say no to people. So even though in my brain, I had clarity, I knew what I wanted, the type of person that I wanted to work with, but I was struggling putting that into my content. I was struggling putting that into my marketing. So what ended up happening is I was killing myself on the sales side. I was sending DMs like crazy. At the time, the business coach that I was working with was really using marketing tactics that I do not recommend using anymore, but really heavy on the cold DMs, the DM outreach, all of that. So I was burning myself out, sending 50 to 100 DMs a day because I didn't have the content skills to bring in the right type of client. I didn't have the marketing skills to bring people in without having to just work myself to the bone when it came to my content. And this is the problem. If you have clarity, that's great. But if you don't know how to turn that into strategy, if you do not know how to pair your clarity to creating content, to your messaging, it really doesn't help you very much. And so that business was successful because I had the clarity. I worked really, really, really hard. And essentially, I outworked the lack of foundational skills. And I just hustled, which 10 out of 10 do not recommend. That's how you burn out. But the foundational clarity was there. I knew in my heart what I wanted. I knew who I wanted to work with. I just did not know how to verbalize that. I didn't know how to put that into actual content creation skills, into actual marketing strategy. So I was really, really working hard to compensate for that lack of marketing, that lack of messaging clarity, compensate with sales skills. And one thing that I've learned since that first business, because we're constantly learning, constantly evolving, constantly looking back and saying, wow, I really could have tweaked that. I really could have done better there. You're constantly learning new skills. That's how, as a business owner, you continue to grow. That's how you continue to reach higher levels. You learn from your past mistakes. Looking back, now that I see that, wow, I really was just relying on straight hustle, straight hard work, Now that I've done the work, now that I've learned the skills, now that I've worked on my messaging to combine that clarity with actual marketing skills, marketing strategy, the amount of work that I have to put into my business now is significantly less, even though my current business earns more than that one did. And that was a successful business. My first one did very, very well. But my current business does even better with less work because not only do I have that clarity, but I know how to put that clarity into my messaging. I know how to put that clarity into my sales process. So I no longer have to rely on just straight hustle and hard work. Don't get me wrong, I still work hard, but I no longer have to just out hustle my lack of skills. So if you feel like in your brain, like, I know what I do, I know who I am, but you know what? When people ask what my business is about, when people ask what I want to do with it, I find myself giving a really shallow answer. I find myself responding with something really basic. Like, I help women lose weight. I help business owners earn more money. I help women love themselves. If you find yourself giving that very shallow answer and almost like you don't want to talk about it because it feels confusing for people, they don't really understand it, you probably have an issue putting that clarity that you have or that you don't have into your messaging, communicating exactly what it is that you do. Because if you can't communicate to a random family member, friends, what it is your business does, you are not going to be able to communicate why someone should pay you a ton of money to work with you. You're not going to be able to communicate on a very deep level what it is that you solve for them. And if you can't do that through your content, if you can't do that through your stories, through your messaging, through your website copy, if you can't communicate that message, you're going to have a really hard time bringing people in naturally. You're going to have a really hard time converting them into a sale without a super long DM conversation, without getting them on the phone or on a Zoom call and spending an hour talking them through just to maybe make a sale, just for that 30 or 40% conversion rate on your calls. You're wasting time. And not only are you wasting time, you're leaving money on the table when you do not have absolute clarity in what you do and you don't know how to communicate that. This is the very first topic that we are covering in our new Fearless Founders membership. The very first thing that we're doing. We're adding this to our library of modules. This will be available for everyone that hops into the membership. We are going to focus on finding that clarity. How do you communicate that clarity? Because before you can dive in and learn the strategies, learn how to create offers, you have to tackle this first. If you jump over this point, like I said, you're either going to, one, maybe see success, but burn yourself out because you have to work so hard on the back end to make up for it, or you are not going to see success. You're not going to see those sales because you can't communicate what it is that you do in the first place. You can't communicate the level of knowledge that you have in this area. You cannot communicate the problems that you solve for people. So why on earth would people pay you to help them if you can't even communicate what it is that you do? This is why this is the first thing that we do. The very, very first thing. Even if you're brand new, you're starting a business, you're a seasoned entrepreneur, maybe you're stuck under that 10K mark and you can't grow, this is the first thing that we do, is break that down. We have our very first training call today for the membership. And I'm so excited. It's going to be phenomenal. I cannot wait to dive into this more because this is the key. This is the key to being able to actually utilize the skills. You can learn the skills. You can learn all those processes. But if you don't have that clarity, if you don't know how to take that clarity and put it into your messaging, it doesn't matter if you have a fabulous marketing strategy. It does not matter if you have the best offer. It doesn't matter if you have an offer that costs $5,000 a pop. If you don't have that clarity and you can't communicate it, your business is not going anywhere. You're not going to be able to reach those higher level income goals. If you're ready for that clarity, if you're ready for that confidence, get in the membership. I'll put the link below. You're not going to want to miss this. Like I said, this very first series that we're doing will be available no matter when you're listening to this podcast, no matter when you're hopping in the membership. It'll be in the modules, but you're going to want to catch it live. You're going to want to be a part of this. So, I'll throw that link down below. As always, if this podcast was helpful, share it on your stories, tag me on Instagram. Every episode that you share is an entry into our giveaway for a free consultation call, so don't miss that out. Make sure and share it to your stories, tag me, include the link. I'm so excited. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day.